All right, hello guys. So welcome to our fourth meeting, and on our fourth meeting, guys, we are here and going to discuss lesson 4, HTML defined fonts. Okay, so let's start, guys, our discussion on lesson 4, HTML defined fonts. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to manipulate your font in your HTML. Okay, so let's start by presenting my Google slide. So you can open this Google slide in your Google Classroom so that you can follow what I'm displaying in your screen. Okay, so first, before we go and move on to define font, so let's first discuss HTML comments. Okay, so what is HTML comment? So comment is a piece of code which is ignored by any web browser. Okay, so let's say you put a comment in your HTML program. Okay, so that comment will be ignored by the web browser. Okay, so meaning it will not be displayed on your web page. It's just a comment. Okay, so it's just like a reminder on what you're doing. Okay, it's just like a comment from the name itself, a comment. Okay, so that it can be a guide for your program if you are creating a HTML program with a lot of words, a lot of keywords, or a lot of tags. Okay, so it is good practice to add comments into your HTML code, especially in complex documents, to indicate sections of a document and any other notes to anyone looking at the code. Okay, so it's a good practice really, guys, to add comments in your HTML code. Okay, so that if other people will look in your HTML code and then they will see your comment, so they will understand it. They will understand your code easier. Okay, so comments help you and others understand your code and increases code readability. All right, so here HTML comments are placed in between these tags. Okay, less than, and then exclamation point, and then two minus sign. All right, and then minus sign, and then greater than sign. Okay, so any content placed with inside this tag, okay, all the text or words or paragraphs that you will put inside these tags will be treated as a comment and will be completely ignored by the browser. Okay, so I have here an example, guys. All right, so example, HTML opening tag, HTML closing tag. Okay, and here we have the head. All right, and as you can see here, I've added here a comment, and my comment is document header starts. All right, and here I have another comment, document header ends. Okay, so if I run this program, so it will just display this document content goes here, and this document header starts and document header ends will not be displayed on your output. So it's just like a reminder, a comment, a guide. Okay, so it will be ignored by the web browser. So here, guys, I have valid and invalid comments. Okay, so comments do not nest, which means a comment cannot be put inside another comment. So you can put comment inside a comment. Okay, so that's invalid. That's wrong. Okay, so second, the double dash sequence, okay, may not appear inside the comment except as a part of the closing tag. Okay, so you must also make sure that there are no spaces in the start of the comment string. Okay, so make sure that there's no spaces on the less than and then exclamation point. Okay, let's go back here. So make sure that there's no spaces here. Okay, on the beginning and at the ending here. Okay, make sure that there's no spaces if you're creating a comment. Okay, so you have your example of a valid comment. All right, so my comment is inside the body, and my comment here is this is a valid comment. Okay, so if the output here will be document goes here inside, it's a paragraph. Okay, so this comment here was ignored by the web browser. Okay, so here I have invalid comment. As you can see, guys, there's a space here, less than, and then space, and then exclamation point. So this is a wrong. Okay, you can see this will be displayed in your web browser. This is not a valid comment. You don't want this to be displayed in your output. Okay, and as you can see, the valid comment here, there's no space between these four. Less than, exclamation point, minus sign, minus sign. There's no space. Okay, if you put space, it will be like this. There's space, right? And if you run it, this will be the output. Okay, all right, so as you can see, it is an error. It's an example of invalid comment. For the next slide that we're going to discuss is this slide, scrolling text in HTML. So in this video, I will be discussing here how to create an HTML program that will make a scrolling text on your web page. Okay, so let's start. So the first one is an HTML marquee is a scrolling piece of text displayed either horizontally across, okay, either horizontally across or vertically down your web page. Okay, so meaning you can scroll your text in HTML horizontally or vertically. Okay, and this is created by using HTML marquee tag. Okay, so this is the tag that we are going to use if we want to scroll text in HTML. Okay, so remember, marquee tag is the tag that we're going to use in scrolling text in HTML. So what is the syntax of marquee tag? Okay, so this is the syntax of marquee tag. So when you are creating a program in HTML, so this is the syntax. Okay, so the first one is this less than, like the opening tag. So this is the opening tag, right? So the opening tag is less than, and then marquee. So marquee is the name of the tag, and then attribute name. Okay, so you can insert here different attributes for the marquee tag. Later on the next slide, I will be discussing the different attributes that you can use inside the marquee tag. Okay, and then after the attribute name, space equals space, and then open quotation mark, and then the attribute value. So what is the value that you're going to insert on your attribute name? And then there should be a close quotation mark, and then you can add more attributes. Okay, so it's not limited to one attribute per marquee tag. Okay, you can add more attributes inside one marquee tag. Okay, and then after that is this greater than sign. So it's the end of the opening tag, and then after that is the lines. Okay, the lines or the text message or image that you want to scroll on your web page, and then this is the end tag. Okay, this is the end tag for the marquee. So less than, forward slash, and then the name marquee, and then greater than. So this is how you will create a marquee tag in HTML. Okay, so now next, let's discuss what are the different attributes that you can use in marquee tag. Okay, so there is a table here, and it's composed of 10. Okay, so there are 10 attributes for marquee tag. Okay, so the first one is width. Okay, so what does the width do? So this is the attribute and description. The name of the attribute is width, and the description of the width is this specifies the width of the marquee. This can be value like 10% or 20% or etc. Okay, so the name of the attribute is width, and the value that you can insert the width is 10% or 20% or so on. Okay, and then we also have height. Okay, it's the same with width, the value is also 10% or 20% or etc. But this height attribute, it specifies the height of the marquee. So basically, width is used if you want to scroll horizontally, and height is used if you want to scroll vertically. Okay? And the third one is direction. So what does the direction attribute do? This specifies the direction in which marquee should scroll. This can be value like up, down, left, or right. So just like direction, okay, the value that you can insert inside this direction attribute is up, down, left, or right. Okay. And the fourth one is behavior. Behavior is another attribute of marquee tag. So what does the behavior do? So this specifies the type of scrolling of the marquee. This can have a value like scroll, slide, and alternate. So you can see here that the values that you can insert this behavior inside this behavior are scroll, slide, and alternate. So next, later, I will show you an example for this. Okay, what can you do inside if you use this behavior attribute? Next is scroll delay. So the scroll delay, it specifies how long to delay between each jump. This will have a value like 10, etc. So so the value that you're going to put inside scroll delay is numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 100. So it's up to you how much are you going to put inside the value for the scroll delay. Okay, and next is number 6 is scroll amount. So the scroll amount, it specifies the speed. Okay, it specifies the speed of marquee text. This can have a value like 10 or 20, 30, 40. Okay, so the scroll amount, this attribute of marquee tag, is used if you want to change the speed. Okay, if you want to change the speed of your text. Okay, next, number 7 is loop. So loop, this specifies how many times to loop or to loop. The default value is infinite, which means that the marquee loops endlessly. So meaning if you do not use this loop attribute, okay, it automatically, like, there's a default value that the looping of your text is infinite. So meaning it will never stop. Okay, it will never stop if you do not use loop. But if you want to make it stop scrolling, then you can use loop. Okay, and then you can insert the value for how much or how long are you going to make your text loop. Okay, and next is BG color. So BG color, it specifies the background color in terms of color name or color hex value. So the name of the attribute is BG color, and then if you want to change the color of your background, you can change it by using this name, and then the value that you're going to put inside is the color name or the color hex value or the color code. Okay, so that is the BG color. Next is H space or horizontal space. So this specifies horizontal space around the marquee. And the value that you can insert here is 10 or 20% or etc. The same with V space. So the difference is just this specifies the vertical space around the marquee. So H space is if you want to use a horizontal space, and V space if you want to use a vertical space in your marquee text. Okay. So these are the 10 attributes that you can use inside the marquee tag. Okay. And for the next slide, I will be showing you guys examples, okay, of using this marquee tool to create a scrolling text in HTML. Okay. So the first example is this one. So example one. So I will show it to you what will happen if we use this example on our HTML. So let's open our notepad. Okay, so here in the notepad is we are going to do our code. Okay, I will make it like this so that you can see what's happening on our notepad and on our notepad and on our web page. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do on our HTML is, so let's try to save it first, like save as, and then when you save it, like you can change the name. Okay, I will change it example.html, and then the save as type is, I will change it to all files, and the encoding will be UTF-8. Okay, and then you can choose wherever you want to save your file, your HTML file, but I will save it on my desktop so that I can easily access it because it's just on my desktop. So just click on save, and the notepad now is saved in our desktop. Okay, let me just put it here. Okay, so let's try this first example. So the first thing that we have to do is HTML, the opening for HTML, and then the ending for HTML. The ending tag should have a forward slash at the beginning, and then okay, yeah, and then inside let's add our head. Okay, head for opening of the head and the closing of the head, so there should be a forward slash, and inside our head I will put our title. So let's say our title is, let's say that the title of this file is this is scrolling text in HTML. Okay, so now we have the title and we have the head. Now let's do our body. So the opening tag for body is this, then the closing tag is forward slash and body, and then inside the body is where we are going to do our example. So this is a very basic example of scrolling text in HTML. So you just have to use the word marquee. Okay, so the opening tag is marquee and the closing tag is forward slash and then marquee and then greater than for the closing. Then inside the opening and the closing tag is the text that we want to scroll in our HTML. So let's say this is a basic example of marquee tag. Okay. So let's try and see what's going to happen if we try this code. So let's go to file and save this, and let's go to our desktop, and you can see it here, the example, and it can be opened using the Google Chrome. So let's just open this by double clicking here, and then let's open our notepad. So as you can see, this is what's happening in our web page. Okay, it's scrolling. So it's a very basic example of scrolling text in HTML. Okay, this is the first example. So in this example, what are you going to do? So you just have to use this opening tag marquee, and then the closing tag is forward slash marquee, and you have to put it inside the body. Okay, so as you can see it here, the output of this code. Okay, now let's try the example number 2. So we have here the example number 2. Okay, so we're going to use the same, the HTML, the head, okay, the title. So let's just change the title for HTML marquee tag. Okay, so this will be our new title now. And inside, so as you can see, the first example is this one, right? And the second example, I want you guys to understand that we can put different attributes in the opening tag of our marquee tag. Okay, so this is the opening tag. So you can put here, or you can use the different attributes inside, okay, after the name marquee, and inside, not outside. Okay, so here, so just space here, and let's first try the width. Okay, width. And so this width, okay, this width is the name of the attribute. Okay, and inside the attribute, there should be a value for the width. And for the value for the width, we should put here percentage, right? Like 10%, 20%. So let's try 20%. Okay. So now we have used here the attribute width, and the value that we put inside is 20%. So if we try and run this, so let's change the inside message or the inside text. Okay, this example is or will take only 20%. Okay, or let's make it like this, 20% width. Okay, so let's go to file and save this, or Control S. Okay, so save, and let's go here and try to refresh. And as you can see, I will make it bigger. Okay, it will only take 10% or 20% of the width of the whole web page. Okay, so let's try and change it to 20 like percent. Okay, like this, or 50%. Sorry, 50%. Okay, so let's try and change it to 50%. Let's go and file and save and refresh. So as you can see, it will only take the half because we use 50%. So it will only scroll on the half of the web page, okay, because we use 50%. So let's use 20 again and save and refresh. So as you can see, it only takes 20% of the web page. Okay, so let's go file and save and refresh. So this example will take only 20% of the width of the web page. Okay, so that is the example number 2. So now let's try and do the example number 3. And then on the example number 3, what we want to do is we want to use the direction attribute. Okay, so the direction attribute. So for now, let's delete this attribute of width, and now let's try and do the direction. So direction, or maybe we can like do another one. Okay, like let's enter and use another marquee tag like this, and then we use the direction, and then equal sign for the value, and the value for direction is up, down, left, and right. So let's try and do the right. Okay, then close, and then the ending tag should be marquee. Okay, so inside the opening, so this is the opening tag, right? And this is the closing tag. So inside the opening and closing tag is the text that we want to scroll. So let's just try here. This text will scroll from left to right. Okay, since we want to use from left to right. Okay, if we want to scroll our text from left to right, the direction should be right. Okay, it should be going to the right. So let's go to file and save this, and let's see what will happen. So let's go here and refresh. So now as you can see, the direction from where our text is scrolling, it comes from left, and it's going to the right. Okay, so that is the direction.
Okay, so let's try another one. Like, let's just copy this, and then let's try here below and change the right to left. Okay, left, and let's change it from right to left. Okay, so the value that we put here on the third line, okay, is we change it to left. So let's go to file and save this. When we refresh and reload our page, so now as you can see, the second line comes from left to right, and the third line will scroll from right to left. Okay, so that is the attribute of direction. Okay, so the first attribute that we use is width. So as you can see, we use only 20%. That's why it's scrolling only for 20% of the page. And we use direction right and direction left, and this is the output. Okay, so now let's go and try the example number 4. So the example number 4 is direction again, but the value is up. Okay, so let's maybe like open it again and use Marquee, and then opening tag, and the closing tag is Marquee, close. Okay, and the text that we want to display is this. Text will scroll from bottom to up. Okay, so we want to scroll this text from bottom to up. So what we're going to do is, inside the opening tag, we're going to use the attribute direction. Okay, direction and equal sign, and the value is up and quotation mark. Okay, so now the fourth line is finished, and we use here the direction up. Okay, so if we try to save this file and then save. Okay, and let's go to our web page and reload this. So as you can see, this text will scroll from bottom to up, so it's going up. Okay, so that this is the output. So now let's try and do this again, like this one, and let's copy and paste it here, and let's change it, the value of direction, like down, and this one is from up to bottom. Okay, let's go to file and save this and refresh. And so as you can see, the first line is, this example will take only 20% because we use width, and the second line is direction to the right, the third is direction to the left, the fourth one is up, so it's going up, and the text is going down on the last example. Okay, so that is the example for direction attribute in Marquee tag. Okay, in scrolling text. So now let's try and do another example. Okay, let me like open this. Okay, so we are finished on the example number 4. So now let's try and do the example number 5. Okay, on the example number 5, okay, the attribute that we're going to use here is the attribute of behavior, the attribute of direction, and the attribute of scroll amount. Okay, so on the behavior, so let's go back again to behavior. Behavior. Okay, here. So on the behavior attribute, it specifies the type of scrolling of the marquee, and the value that we can put here is scroll, slide, and alternate. Okay, and on the example number 5, what we did is we used the value of scroll, and the direction that we use is left, and scroll amount is okay 1, 10, 20, and 50. So this scroll amount is used for changing the speed of how fast or how slow do you want to scroll your text in your HTML. Okay, so let's try and go to our notepad and make it like this. Okay, so here inside the body, okay, so we want to, I will not delete this example, okay, so maybe I will just put here HR for horizontal line to separate these examples. So now let's use the marquee, okay, and then closing tag of marquee is /marquee, and then this one, okay, then inside is the text that we want to show first is very slow, okay, and the attributes, so we are going to put the attribute inside the opening. So let's use the first attribute, behavior, okay, and the value that we want to put inside behavior is scroll, okay, so that it will scroll or the text will scroll. And the next is direction, and the value is left, so from right to the left, okay. So we use already the behavior and the direction. Now let's use the scroll amount, okay, to change the speed of our text, okay. And for very slow, let's use here the value 1, okay. And this is it, guys. So we're finished changing the speed of our text on how to scroll on HTML. So let's just copy this, okay, copy, and let's just paste it here below, okay, let's paste it here, and let's just like change, okay, I will make it like this. So let's just change the value from 1, let's make it 10, and the value inside the text that we want to display is faster, and let's add another one, just paste it and change the value, and let's try 20, and the text that we want to display is fast, and then that okay, then let's add another one and paste it here, and let's change the value to 50, and the text that we want to scroll is lightning fast, okay. So this is the example for changing the behavior, changing the direction, and changing the scroll amount of the marquee tag, okay. So let's go to file and save this, and let's go here and let's reload and see what's going to happen. So as you can see, this is the horizontal line that we put to separate the examples. So the very first line here is very slow because the scroll amount that we put here is 1, and then this is faster because we put it here 10, and then this is fast because we put here 20, and the largest value that we input here is 50, and this is lightning fast. So as you can see, you can you can't read it, okay, because it's so fast, okay. So that is how you want to change the speed of your scrolling in HTML, okay. So that is this is the example number 5. So that is how you scroll text in HTML, guys, okay. So the next thing that I want you to do is this one, okay. Let's discuss this first. So if we can scroll text in HTML, we can also bounce text in HTML, okay. It's like bouncing text in HTML. So you can create bouncing text in HTML using marquee tags again, okay? We can use bouncing text in marquee tags, okay? And you can make your text bounce sideways or up and down. So the same with scrolling. But the difference is we're going to do the bouncing text in HTML, okay? So now, let's try an example of side-to-side bouncing in HTML. Okay, so this is the example. So let's try and do this example in HTML. So let's do it like this. And okay, so here let's just create another like HR to separate our example to make a horizontal line. And here we are going to do the example for bouncing text in HTML, okay? So inside our body, so we are still inside the body, okay? So inside this body, what I want you to do is, let's try and use the opening of marquee tag, okay, this one, and the closing, okay? So just a tip for you guys, if you are creating an HTML program and you are using different tags that has a closing tag, my tip for you guys is when you use the opening tag or when you type the opening tag, make sure that you will also type as soon as possible the end tag, okay? So that you will not forget that you should put an end tag here, okay? So this means that you are already finished typing the opening and the closing tag, so you can just worry about the text that you want to put inside, okay? So let's try that. Our text here is some bouncing text, okay? And that side to side, okay? So this will bounce our text from left to right or from right to left, okay? And if we want to make it bouncing text, we have to use another attribute of marquee tag. So let's go to the opening tag. This is the opening tag. And let's change the behavior. Okay, let's use the behavior tag or behavior attribute. And the value that we want to put inside the behavior so that it will bounce is alternate. Okay, so this is the example for bouncing text in HTML. So marquee behavior and equal sign, and the value that we want to put here inside is alternate. Okay, so let's try and save this by going to file and then save, and let's go to our web page and refresh this. And as you can see, guys, okay, so it's very slow, but you can see that it will not go on the other end of our web page, but it will only bounce back. Okay, bounce. Okay, so that means it will bounce to the left and then bounce back to the right. Okay, so this is the example for creating a bouncing text in HTML. Okay, so we use the marquee tag, okay, and we can use here the different attributes inside the marquee tag. So the first one is width, okay, to only use 20% of the web page, so you can change the value, but make sure that it's on percentage, okay. And we have the direction. We have direction right, left, up, and down. So those are the values for direction. And here, we can change also the behavior. And on the example here, the value that we put inside the behavior is scroll. Okay, and also we change the direction left. And the attribute that you're going to use if you want to change the speed of your text is scroll amount. Okay, so the smaller the value, the slower the text. And the higher the value, the faster the text. Okay, and on this example, we change the behavior and we use alternate so that our text is a bouncing text. Okay, so you can see the example here. Okay, so now let's move on and let's do this last example. Okay, so our last example here is we are going to use the behavior again, and all of it is alternate, and we're going to change the speed of bouncing text. Okay, it's the same with scrolling text, but we're going to change and use the bouncing text. Okay, so let's try this example. Okay, so here let's try and create another HR here. Okay, and another HR to create two horizontal lines. And here let's do this last example. Okay, so let's do the opening tag of Marquee and the closing tag of Marquee, like this. And inside, let's try first the very slow. Okay, the very slow. So let's make it like this. Okay, and inside the Marquee opening tag, we're going to change the behavior to alternate. Okay, let's put it inside the quotation mark like this. Alternate, and let's change the scroll amount. Okay, and let's change it to 1 for very slow. Okay, and we can just copy this to lessen the effort. Okay, so you can change the value here from 1 to 12. Okay, and change the text here like fast. Okay, and let's enter and then paste it here like this, and change the value of the scroll amount to 25, and let's change it here like faster. Okay, and another one, last line, is value of 55, and let's change the text to lightning fast. Okay, fast, not fast. Okay, lightning fast. So let's try and do this example, guys. So we use again here the opening of Marquee. Okay, and inside the opening Marquee tag, we put all our behaviors. And the behavior, the attribute that we change here is behavior and scroll amount. Okay, so let's try and save this. Go to file and save. Okay, and then let's refresh. Oh no, let's refresh this one, our HTML file. So refresh this, and as you can see, it's bouncing. It's bouncing back to back, and you can see how fast and how slow each line, because we use different values here. So you will notice here that you can change the speed on how you will scroll or how you will bounce your text in HTML. Okay, so let's try like another behavior. So the behavior that we want to try now, guys, is the background color. Let's try and do this background color, BG color. So inside our opening of the Marquee tag, let's use here the BG color and equal sign, and let's try and do here red. Okay, So let's go and save this, and let's see if it's going to change something. So let's go here and save, and here is what's happening. So there is a new background color for this line. Here is some bouncing text. Okay. So that is all, guys, for our discussion using this marquee tag. Okay. Hello everyone. I will be discussing and I will explain your activity for you for today. So our lesson is about HTML marquee tag, okay? And I've discussed the different attributes that you can use in marquee tag. So it's time for your activity today. Okay, so when you open your activity for today, its name is Activity 4.1 HTML Defined Fonts. So you can see this Google Docs. Okay, you have to insert your name, class, and number here. And here are the instructions. So watch first one. Watch the video provided by the teacher for explaining the activity. So this is the video. So after these are the instructions when you finish the video, okay? Or when you finish your HTML code. So second is take a screenshot of your HTML code and paste it here. Okay, paste it here below, and take a video of the output of your code and attach it here. So take a video, maybe using your screen or using your mobile phone, and attach your video here. And number 4, save your Notepad file as .html. Okay, save it as .html. Maybe you can use your nickname and then .html, and attach it to your assignment in Google Classroom. And lastly, turn in your work. Okay, so what is the work that you're going to do for today? So I have here an example. Okay, so you have to do 5. Okay, you have to do 5 marquee tag in HTML. So the first line is here. It's scrolling from right to left, and the background is color green. Okay, and as you can see, the font size of this first line is bigger, right? Because I use here the heading H1. Okay, so you have to use H1 here. And the text that you have to display on the first line is, this is Justine's activity in marquee tag. Okay, so the only thing that you have to change here is the name. Okay, you have to put your own nickname. Okay, your nickname is fine. Just put your nicknames here on the first line. For example, your nickname is Justine. So you have to put here, create an HTML code that will display this is Justine's activity in marquee tag. Okay, and the background is green. Next is you have to put here the horizontal line. Okay, and the second line or the second marquee tag that you're going to use in HTML is this one. You will introduce yourself like, my name is Justine Santamaria. My nickname is Justine. Okay, so you have to change your name. Okay, your first name and your surname here and your nickname. Okay, and it should be scrolling from up to bottom. Okay, just like what you see here. And on the third line, or on the third marquee tag example for your activity, you have to display, this is Justine's activity on scrolling text from left to right with the speed of 20. So you have to change the name, put your own nickname here, and after that, your marquee text should be scrolling from right to left, and the speed is 20. Okay, there should be a speed of 20. And the fourth, okay, this is the fourth one. The background color is red, and the heading that I've used here is H3. Okay, that's why this font size is bigger. And you have to display your text from right to left, but the width is only 20%. You can see it here. This is Justine's activity on scrolling text from right to left with 20% width. So you have to use here 20% of the width and change the Justine to your own nickname. And lastly, this is a bouncing text, okay? A bouncing text, and I use also here the heading 3, so H3, and the speed should be 15, okay? And it should be a bouncing text, and the background color is green, okay? And once you're finished doing this activity, then that would be the end of your activity and you are finished. And after you finish, the next thing that you have to do is this one, the instructions here, okay? So this will be your activity for today. And if you have some questions and if you need some help, you can message me, okay? So